Well, the day has finally come. I get to start the manual transmission and four-wheel drive swap on my bus conversion, the Angry Pickle. So let's get her jacked up on some jack stands and start tearing her apart. Boom! Sit down. All right, got the axle rolled under there for a test fit to see where it's going to live. See how much of that front cross member I'm going to have to cut out to get some up travel so it'll ride decent. It's not looking too bad. It's looking like it's going to fit pretty well. Going to be a nice clean spot on the frame to build the radius arm mount brackets. So I think it's going to be a fairly straightforward install. Now, because I'm using the factory radius arm brackets off the E450 Super Duty, they don't have the drop necessary to keep the arms level, so that's gonna negatively affect my caster. So the way I'm gonna compensate for that is, well, you can see right there, the negative caster. How I'm gonna fix that is I'm gonna build the caster into the arms, into the mounting holes. I'm gonna slot the lower holes, push the bottom of the axle forward to give me the positive caster that I need. So I'm gonna pull the arms off and get started on that. All right, now I got these slotted out to correct the caster. I cut some plates that I'm gonna reinforce this piece here with and center the hole where I need it. But while I was waiting for those to cool, I went ahead and did the steering. I read on the Facebook 4x4-wheel drive van group that if you just take the stock drag link off of the F350 axle, your van drag link will screw right on, and they were correct. It screwed directly onto the tie rod there, and that's just a factory drag link for the van. I did order a longer pitman arm so I can get some more swing out of there, so I can take full advantage of the steering angle of this axle, but it has the same tie rod right there, so it'll all work just like that. So back to the radius arms. All right, I've got my arms back in there, got my little plates on there to cover my slots. I've set the springs in it, and I've jacked it up until it came off the jack stand so that I'm setting at what would be ride height. My bus is actually leaning back at an angle of 2 degrees, so I set my caster at 7 degrees. The factory calls for 3.5 plus or minus 2, and it's always good to add a little extra caster to help prevent wobble and all that good stuff. So I've set it at 7, so minus the 2 degrees of the bus, I'll be setting at 5 degrees once I'm setting at ride height front and rear. So now I got to take these arms back off again, weld them up, and then I'm gonna take the springs out and cycle the axle and finish clearancing that cross member so I can get as much up travel as possible. All right, now I've jacked up the axle. I've seen where all it's gonna hit and where I'm gonna have issues with my track bar across here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it across my mark, cut the slip off all the way across, and then I'll jack it up again and see if it clears. All right, I got the cross member all trimmed. It's clearing as much as I'm gonna clear. I'm not gonna get any more up travel than that. So I started welding on the arms. Get them welded up. And then I'll start bracing the radius arm mounts and weld them completely, since I know everything's where it needs to be. Well, there she is, all braced up from the outside. When I pull the transmission to do the manual swap, I'm going to get in there and box the inside to the frame so it'll be super sturdy. And now I've got it sitting back on the springs, so that's ride height. Measuring from the center of the hub to the top of the fender, it seems that I've gained about 3.5 inches of suspension lift, which ain't too bad. It looks like I'm gonna have about that in up travel, which I would like a little more, but once I get my shocks and everything on there, I'll see how it rides, see if it bottoms out really easy. If it does, I'll probably go another 2 inches. But now I'm gonna start on the track bar and then figure out something on the brake lines and get going from there.